Okay, so we're looking at working with tables and database records on Chapter 3. We're going to learn how to navigate among the records in a table. We're going to enter, enter, insert, edit, and delete records, work with primary keys, find and replace data, attach and detach documents, and sort, filter data, and understanding table relationships. That's what we're going to be covering on this Chapter 3 lesson. And you've already completed the knowledge assessment, so you should be familiar with these key terms. We're going to go down here and we're going to do this step by step together. So I sent everybody the document, the access document that says fourth coffee. So you can just click on that. If you don't already have it maximized on your screen, do that. And go ahead and click this enable content. So it's going to let us make changes to it. And on yours, let me get back here to our directions. The first step says on the File tab, click the Save As database. But you have a little, some of you have a little message that popped up there on the little yellow tab on your Access document. I don't have it on mine. But some of you have a little yellow message here that says Save As. You can click on that either way. But the directions want us to go to the File tab. So everybody click on File. And we're going to Save Database As. So click this third option, the first one that's highlighted that says Save Database As. And it wants you to leave the name Fourth Coffee, but it wants you to put your initials at the end of it. Okay? And we're just going to save it to documents. So just leave it called Fourth Coffee and put your initials at the end and click Save. And you may have to enable content again if that message pops up after you're done. So is everybody with me on that step? Okay. After we've done that, we're going to look at our navigation pane. And we're going to double click Coffee Inventory Table to open that table. So what that looks like is this. Right here, this is our navigation pane on the left that we've discussed. And double click Coffee Inventory Table to open this table. Does everybody have that on the smart board? Is that what your screen looks like? The document that I sent you. Look on Charles. Just follow along with his screen. Because I'm reading the directions to you from that text. I'm reading the directions from this to you, and you already doing this on the document. So just follow along with Charles. Okay, has everybody else got this? All right. Once we have that open, it wants us to notice that the first cell of the first record is selected. Automatically, when you open a table, this first cell where it says product ID 2000 or 20,051 is automatically selected when you open that table. So it wants us to press the down arrow key to move down to the next row. So when you do that on your keyboard, just press the down arrow key and it takes you down to the next row. So everybody do that. Hit the down arrow key once. Okay, now we're going to press the right arrow key to move to the product name field. So on your keyboard, just press the right arrow and you'll notice that now we have cinnamon vanilla selected. Okay, now we're going to press the tab key to move to the next cell. So on your keyboard, hit tab, and now we have 30 pounds selected. Okay, it's just showing you different ways to move around inside the table. Does everybody understand what we're doing? Okay, and press the tab key 2 more times. When you do that, it moves you over to the next cell and then down to the next row. Okay? And then if you hit the control down arrow, it's going to move us to the first field of the last record. So hit Control and the down arrow key, and that takes you to the bottom of the table. Okay? If you hit Control and the up arrow key, it takes you back to the top. So those are just different ways to navigate around inside this table. So that was using the keyboard to navigate among records. All right, we're going to move on down to our next area we're going to work on is using navigation buttons. So we're going to click that first record button. You see right here on this little screenshot, we just want to get back up here to this first record. So if you haven't already done so, just click up here where mine is highlighted. The first record under product ID. Click that cell. Everybody have that selected? Okay, let me see. Where's... Okay, now look right here at the bottom of the bottom of your table. Does everybody see these buttons down here? Yes. You've got first record, which is what I should have shown you first. Let me just click down here. Okay. This very first button looks like a backwards arrow with a line in front of it. That means first record. And if my smartboard was oriented, that would work for us. Use the keyboard. When you click that, that takes you to the first record. Now, we can use this same option to use the arrow button to go to next record. And if you highlight, just hold your mouse over that little arrow, it pops up and says next record. So press that to move you to the next record. That's just another way that we can move it. All right, we want to select and delete the number 2 in the current record box and key 5 instead. So right here where we're on 2000 or 20,056 cinnamon vanilla, we're going to erase that 2 and change it to a 5. So now it should say 50056 on that second record. Okay, once you have that changed, you're going to press the Enter key. And it's just going to move you over to cinnamon vanilla. All right, now we want to use our search box. We're going to look for the word sunrise. Yes, okay. You may just want to turn around and look at Leo's if it has us do anything different. Double click on one of those. Okay. We all may have to look on with those. Okay. So a few of you are having technical difficulties. If we get to a step that's not working on yours because of this vision program, the way I've shared the document with all of you, you may just have to look on someone else's that it is working for, okay? All right, so let me get back to this. See here again at the bottom, it says search, and you click down in here. And right here at the bottom, right above your little ribbon, your taskbar at the bottom, we have a search box. So click in that box until the cursor is flashing. Okay, and we're going to type we're looking for the word sunrise. Okay, so in this search box, you're going to type sunrise. You notice as soon as you get that in there, it highlights that on your table. See how it automatically went to sunrise blend and found that in the document? Okay, then it wants us to press enter. Okay, so everybody got that part? Everybody typed sunrise and hit enter and it found it in the document. Now our next step here is, you'll notice this button right after last record, here at the bottom of your window, there's a little arrow with a symbol beside it. If you hover over that with your mouse, it says new blank record. Okay, so we're going to click that, and it takes us to the bottom where we can add a new record. Charles, did you do that yet? Click it right here and search. Type sunrise. Okay, I'll do to show that. Now this button here, hover over it. Oh, says new blank record, click that. So we're at the bottom of our table, and we're going to add a new blank record. Go back to the directions here, and okay, so it took us to the first column in the last row of the table. Now we're going to enter, edit, and delete records. So now it says the insertion point should be positioned in the first field of the new blank row at the bottom of the data sheet, which is where everybody should be. Is anybody not there? Okay. And you are going to key 21905. 21905. 21905. And after you have that keyed in, you're going to press the tab button. And you'll notice that that takes you to the next column. So now we're under product name and our cursor's flashing in that empty box. Okay, and then there it wants us to type in the word hazelnut. Hazelnut, H-A-Z-L-E-N-U-T. Hazelnut, okay? And then you're going to hit tab again. So our product ID was 21905, and our product name is Hazelnut. Okay? So now when we hit tab, we're going to be under the pounds column. Okay, and then our directions say under pounds we're going to type in 30 and hit tab. 30? After you type in 30 under pounds and hit tab, now we're under the scheduled order date field. So here it wants us to just type, and you do not have to do the dashes for the date, okay? So you're just going to type 02112012 for February 11th, 2012, okay? So 02112012, and it automatically puts it in that date format for you. So that's how we have it set up. So after you type that date in there, hit enter. Okay, does everyone have this new record keyed in? Okay. All right, now our directions tell us that we want to highlight Sunrise in the search box and key Kona. So go back down there to the search box where we previously typed Sunrise. I hear some talking. Is everybody with me? Down here where we had Sunrise before, where we searched for that, just highlight it, select it, so you can type over it and type Kona for Kona. Kona, it's a type of coffee. Kona, okay? Once you do that, it finds that for you. All right, so we're going to take our mouse and we're going to click up there where it has Kona selected right at the end. Because now we want to add the word Hawaiian after Kona. Okay, so hit your space bar and then type the word Hawaiian. So now it says Kona Hawaiian.
I spell Hawaiian.
H-A-W-A-I-I-A-N.
Yes. H-A-W-A-I-I-A-N. And I left an A out. Okay. After you do that, we're going to press the tab key. So now we should have 35 highlighted in the pounds column.
If you write one word and stuff, are you able to make this so it corrects the words and stuff like that?
Don't think so. No, this one doesn't. That was a good question Victoria had. She asked, do we have spell check like we do in Word? And no, you do not have spell check feature in Access on your tables like this. So if you misspell it, it's misspelled on your table. Okay, so we've hit tab, and now it wants us to go to our quick access toolbar. Okay, I'm going to move back to the smartboard and make sure everybody remembers where this is. This is our quick access toolbar right up here, over the file in the home tab. And it's going to want us to press this undo button. It looks like the little backwards funny shaped arrow. So we're going to undo that change we just did. Yes, we just did it for no reason, but we learned how to do it. Okay, so when you hit undo, it erases Hawaiian. So it's going to go back to say Kona. Okay? It just wanted us to know how to do that. How to use that option to go in and change that. Okay? All right, now we're going to hit the tab key, so we should have our date highlighted. So we're on the row, still in that row of Kona, but where it's got the date, it wants us to change the date now. So this time we are going to type 12/29/2010. So 12/29/2010. 12/29/2010 is what your date should say. 12/29/2010. Charles, do you have your date changed? All right, after you do that, you're going to press the tab key on your keyboard. So now we're on the next row. Everybody there with me? Look up here at Smartboard and make sure yours looks like mine. All right, so now it wants us to click the record selector box to the left of the product ID field on the first record. So that is right here. See where my arrow is? I haven't clicked it yet, but I've just got my mouse hovering right here. We're going to click this. That's going to select our first record. So it's just showing you different ways. Like before we use these record selectors, you can click in there anywhere, or you can click on these little spaces, which is a record selector.
Yours is, okay, the first one's white, ours is,
Okay, once you have that selected, our directions tell us next that we are going to go to our Home tab, and in the Records group, we're going to click the Delete button drop-down arrow. So we're on our Home tab. Okay, we're on our Home tab and in our Records group. So right here in this area, there's a little button that says Delete with the X beside it, but you're going to click that little arrow beside it. So you should have this menu that pops up. And we're going to choose Delete Record from that menu.
Are you about?
Okay, so you should have a message pop up that says you're about to delete one record. Let's double check our directions and see what it says.
You are about to delete one record.
And we got to
Okay, and it does, the directions do tell us that we do want to click yes. Okay, so click yes, we really do want to delete that record. That just comes up in case you hit that by mistake. It wants to be very sure that you actually want to delete it, so you don't have to go back and retype it all. So now it's telling us in the directions that if you look up here at our quick access toolbar where we used undo before, we do not have that option available, because once you delete a record, you cannot undo that deletion. Okay? So that's why that message pops up. It's very important. It wants to be sure that you understand that once you delete it, you can't just undo it and put it back. You would have to go back in and insert it and retype all the information again. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to define a primary key. So we're going to use the same record that we've been working with. We're going to close this table. So click the X over here, not the red X, the one on the gray line, just to close that table. And then in our navigation pane, this time we're going to look at Order Summary Table. So double click Order Summary Table to open that. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Y'all close that back. Just close that table we opened back. I got ahead of myself. I got to show you a different way to do it. Yes, ma'am.
Did you save this or?
I just. Now, what we're going to do is you're going to we're going to right click. You should have this little menu pop up when you do. Okay, so instead of double clicking it to open it, we're going to right click it, and we want to open it in Design View. So on this little menu, click Design View. Okay. Does everybody look like this? Close this. And then this one's here. And then right here, we're going to right click. Now, choose Design View. Alright, so now everybody's with me on Design View. What we were looking at before, when we double click that table, it automatically opens by default in Data Sheet View. Diana, you listening to me? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So now this was Design View. So let's see what our directions say now. We're going to click the row selector box beside the Order ID row to select that row. And we're going to click our primary key button. So what they're talking about again is this little row selector box like I showed you a second ago where I've got my mouse hovering. This little gray box, just click it, make sure you've got Order ID selected. So we've got our first record, Order ID. You got this, Charles? Everybody with me? Okay. once you've got this selected and it's yellow all the way around order ID, you have this button right here, this first thing, this big key. It says primary key. Press that. To use the mouse. When you press primary key, now you'll see a little key symbol there in that ID selector box to the left of it. So that made order ID our primary key. Who can tell me what the primary key is? What is the primary key?
It's a key. It's primary.
Funny.
It's a button that's highlighted in orange. Nope.
From our vocabulary, when we've been doing these things, does anybody remember what the definition says?
Hold on, wait. I will tell you in a minute. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Just gonna be honest with you. I don't even know what I'm doing. I guess I could history that.
Well, you're not going to learn anything that way.
A primary key is an access database table with a unique value that helps identify each record in the table.
Okay. Does everybody understand that? Read it one more time, Killian.
Man.
Sorry. Read it loud for us so everybody can hear you.
It's in an access database table. It's a unique value that helps identify each record in the table.
Okay. All right, so we have chosen order ID to be our primary key. So that's our unique value by this table. It's going to be the order ID. Let me make sure I didn't skip a step here. Okay, so we've done that. We press the primary key button. Okay. Okay, so now it wants us to hold down the control key and click over here beside paid.
Hold what?
Control.
And do what?
We're going to click beside paid.
Okay.
So order ID and paid are selected, and the only way you can really tell is if you notice your little row selector column over here, they're both a little bit darker gray than the others, okay? It doesn't have the yellow box around it. It's just got the darker gray little square there.
Somebody come do mine. Click the top one and then go down. Click control and what?
And you just want to click right here in this little box. And then hold control right here in the keyboard. See how they're both perfect right now? Good. Everybody got both of them selected now? Okay. All right, let's see why it wanted us to do that. All right.
Yeah, I'm called the red every day.
All right, so now on our design tab in the tools group, we're going to click the primary key button again. So right here where we click the key button, we're going to click it again. So now they both have a key beside them. So we have two primary keys, order ID and paid.
Mine don't. I don't
Try to select them both again and then click that primary key button.
Yeah, it only does one.
know.
Okay, so now while we've still got them both selected, it wants us to hit the primary key button again, and that takes it away from both of them. Did everybody do that? And now we have no key icons showing on the table?
How do you do that?
Just press, while they're both still selected, press that primary key button again, and it should take it away from both of them. Now one more time, and this is just to make sure we understand it. It wants us to press it and put it back on both of them again. Okay? So we put it on one, we added it to a second one, we took it away from both, and now we've put it back on both. Has everybody got it back on both of them now? Okay, then the directions say once we've done that, on our quick access toolbar up here again, right above the file tab, you're going to click the save icon. So that way we want to save it and leave both of our primary keys selected. Okay, so we're going to close this now. And if you're ever in that design tab and you don't hit that save button, before you close it, a message is going to pop up and ask you if you want to save it. Okay? Every time you close it out, after you've made changes, it should ask you that.
Do you want to?
Yes, tell it you want to save it. If you didn't already save it, tell it yes. Okay, so now we're going to open our customers table. Let me see if we've got a special way. Okay, so it doesn't tell us any certain way. So just double click customer table, which is the last one over there in the navigation pane. This time we are going to use our find button, and we're going to find and replace data in our table. So on access right here you have a find group, and you're going to click replace in this find group. Does everybody see where that button is? In mine, since I had that first record selected automatically, it says find what in the box over there, and it's got 101. We want to erase that and type the word ELM, E-L-M. And we're in this box. Once you click the replace button, your little dialog box right here should open. And in the find what box, you're going to type ELM, E-L-M.
Where's the replace?
Find group. And then see the binoculars. And right of it. Top replace. So find what, you're going to type the word ELM. And in the replace with box, we are going to type the word little elm. Little elm. Little elm. E-L-M. So we're changing elm to little elm. We're just putting little in front of it. Mm-hmm. E-L-M. It's a type of tree. Okay, now our options tell us we've got the next little thing here says look in. Where it says current document, click that arrow. We want to make sure that we have it on current document. Mine was already on there. Right here in this dialog box, right under where we typed replace with, it says look in. And you click this arrow. If it's not already on current document, make sure you change it to current document. Okay. Once you've got that done, that just tells it that we're searching the whole table and not just that one field that we were already inside of. And then we're going to, beside the match menu, we're going to select any part of field if it isn't already selected. So mine is already defaulted on any part of field, but just in case yours isn't, right here where it says match, make sure you choose any part of field. Ooh, bumped my desk. Okay. Now we're ready to hit the Find Next button. So that's the first button over there on the far right hand side of that dialog box. Click Find Next. When you do that, it should highlight up there where it says Elm Street. It's got the elm highlighted. Then our directions say that we are going to click the Replace button. So when you do that, now it says Little Elm is the address instead of just Elm. Okay, now we're going to click the Find Next button. And it's going to find the next occurrence, which is one that we were just changed already. So hit Find Next one more time. And we have a button or a message come up. Tell that okay. Gotta get off of this. Okay, tell it okay. And then we're going to click Cancel on our search dialog box. And then we're going to press the down arrow on your keyboard, and once you do that, it is telling it that you're allowing that change to be made. So you're going to leave it Little Elm instead of Elm. We just hit the down arrow on the keyboard to move down to the next row, so it would accept our change in the one we were in.
What do you have to include findings?
Just tell it. Did you have a little message come up that's? Let me look at yours with you. Hit Find Next one more time. Okay, now tell that okay. It's canceled. Just hit this down arrow right here on the keyboard. Just to move it off of that reference, so to accept the change to the one we made.
So I've never
All right, let's see. We're on page 59. Let me just scan through real quick and see what else we've got to do. Okay, we're just going to save our progress on this. So you can close this little X in the table. Okay, and then go back to your File tab and make sure you go to the third option, the one that says Save Database As. You don't want to just save the object, you want to save the whole database. And you can leave it the same name and just make sure you've saved those changes. And y'all go ahead and upload that to your digital locker. So we'll have it to work on tomorrow and we'll finish going through those steps. Okay. Yeah, just click Save again just to make sure all those changes we made are still there. Okay? And then just go into Gaggle and upload them to your digital locker. Now, was that just super confusing for anybody? Access can be difficult, but it's a lot like Excel. And these steps we're just doing these together to make sure that we know how to navigate through this table and make changes to a table. There's several different ways to do it. So this was just giving us different ways to look at it, changing our information that we had in our table. Okay, so we'll have just a few minutes for y'all to get those uploaded to your digital locker, and if nobody has any questions, then tomorrow we'll just come in and we'll resume that. We'll finish up. We'll just have a little bit more in this chapter,